First story ** Mary and Adam, two of my 38-year-old coworkers, were both in their late 20s or early 30s. After Mary joined the company first, she persuaded Adam to follow suit. Mary worked in my department. The others were in other departments. Mary quit her job to pursue a different one. They had been married for a few years when they began working for the corporation. Mary is the sweetest, most beautiful person I have ever encountered. She would always make someone smile, be helpful, and be courteous. We were shocked to learn that she was divorcing Adam for cheating on her, even though we missed her terribly. We've been in contact nearly every day since I phoned her to apologize for what happened to her. The poise with which Mary handles herself in this circumstance really impressed me. She makes no attempt to disparage Adam, and the only item she brought up was the disappearance of her wedding gown and a few family artifacts during the move out of their apartment. She reasoned that they might be lost in another box and would reappear eventually. After a few years, Adam and I are now co-workers in the same department. Although he is a wonderful co-worker, he occasionally comes across as conceited and disrespectful. Adam asked me to his wedding, along with Chelsea, the woman he had an affair with Mary. I replied yes, confirming with Mary that this was acceptable, because the entire department was invited. I've also informed her of the location of the wedding. She lives not too far away, and if she wanted, we could go out for drinks afterwards. When I looked at Chelsea on the day of Adam's wedding, I saw that she was wearing the same dress that Mary had been wearing in the old pictures of her at Adam's wedding. I emailed Mary a picture without thinking about it, captioning it, "Doesn't this dress look familiar?" Mary read the message, but didn't reply, and the police arrived at the location an hour later. I should also mention that our nation's police are brutal, and they will handle any theft as a criminal problem. Chelsea was requested to remove the clothing and all of her jewelry by the police. Adam then got involved in their argument after Chelsea rejected and began to argue. They were brought to the police station because they behaved rudely towards the officers. The wedding guests had to part ways. Mary refused to answer the phone when I tried to reach her. Chelsea was wearing Mary's bridal gown and her heirlooms, as we discovered later. I gave Mary a picture of herself and she saw them on her, so I called the cops. She had apparently already asked Adam if he had them, to which he had replied that he had never seen them. She therefore realized he was lying and stealing them after seeing the photo. After they were bailed out, Chelsea had to leave the bridal gown and jewelry at the police station and head home in her panties and Adam's jacket. Adam stormed back into the office yesterday, accusing me of spoiling his wedding by sending a picture to Mary. In addition, he called me a fool for what I did. Thus, Adam betrayed his wife, took her wedding gown and family jewelry, and gave them to his new fiancée, who might or might not have known about them. You didn't contact the police. All you did was warn the ex-wife. She took action because she was aware of his history of deceiving and stealing from her. Adam is obviously the moron, and the cops may also be to blame for their extremely harsh handling of this, in my opinion. OP, you are not the stupid one. Second story ** My 46-year-old twin daughters, Tammy and Tori, are currently enrolled in college and are organizing a 2-week trip to Italy. Everything is being paid for by me as a birthday present. Diane, my closest friend, has an 18-year-old daughter named Lori. Diane has been concerned about Lori's lack of friends. When my girls were little, Lori and I used to be closer, but as they grew older, we drifted apart. In order to keep Lori from being lonely all the time, Diane asked me if my daughters could try to incorporate her in their social activities. Tammy felt horrible for Lori when I phoned her about this, and ever since then, they've spoken more. Lori was welcomed to their dorm once, and they went out on other dates with her. I discussed it with Diane first, and she agreed, even though I felt that inviting Lori to Italy would be the next logical move. She mentioned that since she began seeing my daughters once more, Lori has been happier. Diane offered to pay for Lori to travel to Italy with my daughters if they consented. However, they expressed disapproval of the proposal when I spoke with them. They claim Lori is too innocent, and would keep them from enjoying more grown-up activities in Italy. Given that I am the one who pays for everything, I believe they are being extremely ungrateful, cruel, and self-centered towards me. I've been saying that Lori is going with them even though they don't want to, but we've been fighting. Am I the foolish one? It's you who is the fool. You should no longer be setting up playdates for your daughters because they are now adult women. They don't want to spend 2 weeks with Lori, even though they would enjoy her company for dinner or an expedition. Giving a gift with conditions attached is not a polite gesture. You're the fool. Your daughters have already shown Lori some love by inviting her around, rekindling their friendship, and spending time with her. That does not imply that Lori can now participate in all of their activities. Boundaries in a friendship are normal and good. Additionally, a 2-week overseas trip is something you do with your literal twin or your best friends in the world. In this case, not the girl you kind of feel horrible for because she doesn't have any pals, while your mother begs you to be kind. Even if you do wind up making Lori travel to Italy with Tammy and Tori, it's still a lose-lose situation. Lori won't be foolish. She will see that she isn't welcome there. Making her go will just increase her animosity. Lori versus Tammy and Tori for interrupting what was supposed to be a trip for sisters, and Lori versus Tammy and Tori for not wanting her to go. It's an extremely costly playdate that no one wants to attend. A woman, 27, is married to a man, 34. We have 2 kids together, a shared young son and his preteen daughter. It has been 6 years since our marriage. The older girl's timetable is split 50-50ths. The way it works out, she spends 3 or 4 nights a week at our place, and the same amount of time at her mother's house. My spouse and I have a lot of disagreements because he feels that he doesn't spend enough time with his child. We always argue over it, and I'm not sure how to support him in this. His custody arrangement was established long before I entered the scene, and he has been divorced for 10 years. He has been working part-time lately, so even when she is in school, he is off 100% of the time she is here. I wanted to support him financially, so I took up a second job to assist with the logistics. Our typical day involves me getting up with the kids and sending them off to school, followed by my husband who needs to report to work at 5 o'clock on the days he works. After he's off, I let him sleep in. After school, the kids attend aftercare until I finish work, and I pick them up at 4:45 p.m. After we arrive home, I walk the dogs while my husband spends 10 to 15 minutes talking to the kids. After that, my stepdaughter and I will focus on her homework while my son watches TV. My spouse will use this as an excuse to use the restroom. I'll start preparing dinner about 5:30 or 6 p.m. while my son and stepdaughter play. Right now, my husband is still using the restroom every single day. I'll knock at about 6:30 to let him know dinner is ready. It takes him about 15 to 20 minutes to join us for dinner. Once dinner is done, he excuses himself and heads back to the bathroom. I clean the kitchen with the kids, then we take their baths, etc. I'll knock again at about 8:30 to ask him to come tuck our son in. After I finish the housework, I'll go lead the stepdaughter upstairs to her bed, and the husband will take a shower and head to bed. The couple will spend approximately an hour together. I walk the dogs once more and repeat the process. My husband had told my stepdaughter the other night that she didn't have to go to bed at a certain time. I reminded him that she had a significant test the next day and that her previous performances had shown that she needs enough sleep the night before. We got into another heated argument after she went to bed because he feels that I should be the one to make sure he spends time with her. I screamed at him, telling him he would spend more time with her when she was awake instead of spending hours every night in the bathroom. If he truly cared about her, he would make time for her in the same manner that I do, so clearly there's something else going on with him. Even though I've made numerous attempts to apologize, he hasn't spoken to me in the last 4 days, so I know I truly wounded him. Since I know this is the one thing he's most insecure about, and I flung it in his face out of rage, I fear I might be in the wrong. So, am I the fool here? Not the fool. He eats with you all and spends an hour with her, while you are doing all possible for the 2 kids. Does he even interact with your son in person? He truly cannot be a part of your life, hence he needs to see a doctor. It takes a saint to handle this circumstance for so long without becoming angry with him. Not the fool. He's pissing, you're working 2 jobs, taking care of the majority of the childcare, and cooking. I fail to see how any of this is your fault, short of adding laxatives to his food. I hate to break the news to you, but your spouse is either addicted to internet, gambling, having an affair, or something else. He's not doing anything else in the bathroom. His outburst of rage is a diversion from his transgression. The more irate he becomes, the less you'll doubt his actions. Whatever it is he's doing, it's blatantly suspicious. Please, girl, get over him. You look after the kids, the house, and the pets in addition to working 2 jobs. Of course, you can also handle the finances, and all he brings to the table is guilt, animosity, tension, and conflicts. Why do you hang around with him? If he is upset with you for not spending more time with his child while working just part-time and spending the entire evening in the restroom, he is deceiving you and placing the blame for his problems on you. That is repulsive. Demand better of yourself and stop being such a fool to yourself. My partner and I decided to arrange a 5-day, short getaway somewhere nearby. My girlfriend mentioned that my best friend, her best friend, and I would be there. At first, I didn't see any issues with it. But when I told my best buddy that my girlfriend and I were on this trip, he couldn't bring his girlfriend because he would have to share a room with my girlfriend's best friend because we were only renting 2 rooms at the hotel. I told him as much, and then realized how ridiculous the whole thing sounded, but I waited for his reaction. He simply answered, "No," and disconnected up when I asked who would be traveling with me. No, I was aware that his refusal to invite his partner had offended him. I informed my girlfriend that expecting him to live with another female in the same room as his girlfriend is not a good idea. After becoming enraged, my girlfriend chose to speak with my closest buddy. He's being a bad friend, she told him over the phone, because he never hangs out with his pals by himself and always brings his girlfriend along. My best friend didn't want to offend my girlfriend, so he just said he would hang up. Subsequently, he contacted me right away and began criticizing me, calling my partner foolish for expecting him to keep his girlfriend to himself and for complaining that he often brings her around, and instructed me to tell my girlfriend that she is also a girlfriend. She has no authority to dictate who he may or may not invite around. He made a valid argument, therefore I didn't entirely disagree with what he stated. He was attacking my partner, and I was upset about it. I attempted to apologize and explain that it was just a misunderstanding, but he shouldn't go too far. Rather, he insisted that I was a moron for not seeing anything wrong with my girlfriend's plans in the first place, and for informing him that he was going too far because my girlfriend initiated the situation and is not sorry for it. Okay, I understand his point, and why he is upset. I was equally enraged by his response even though I don't think my girlfriend meant any harm. Am I the foolish one? It's you who is the fool. It is not your and your girlfriend's place to create plans for other people and then hope that they will follow suit. Why do we just have 2 hotel rooms? How come her best friend and yours can't bring their partners? I have a feeling that your girlfriend is attempting to introduce her best friend to yours. They don't even give a damn about the boys in one room and the girls in another, my god. Even though OP's best buddy is a married man, she is clearly trying to set this up by making it a couple's trip. Grossly disrespectful boundaries, OP. If the roles had been reversed, would you have preferred it? A friend extends an invitation to go on a trip, but she can't go, so you'll be traveling with another girl and sharing a room. Nope, I'm sure neither you nor your girlfriend would approve of it. For not noticing anything wrong with your girlfriend's ideas, you are the foolish one. My spouse and I were wed after a brief courtship. Despite his tight relationship with his family, and the several times a year he visits them, he never introduced me to them. He would always tell me it wasn't the proper time, and he would take me to see them one day when I would ask him why. It was when his sister unexpectedly appeared on our doorstep that I got to know her. She didn't know I existed, and she didn't think the rest of his family did either. I really like his sister, and because my husband didn't appear to want to introduce me to my in-laws anytime soon, it was her idea that I meet them. She informed me that their parents and other members of their family will be in the city, and that she would put me in touch with them if I was interested in meeting them. I went because my hubby isn't home right now. It was strange going out to supper, but they were really pleasant. They stated they didn't blame me for it, but they were disappointed that my spouse hadn't told them he was married and that we hadn't invited them to the ceremony. My husband called me after, irate because I had gone to eat with his relatives without notifying him first. Am I the foolish one? You with someone who refused to tell his family about you or even introduce you to them. Oh, OP, what were you thinking? I am unable to form an opinion on this specific conflict because I am unable to comprehend the decision made. How come your spouse hasn't even revealed to them that you're married? To be completely honest, you are dealing with much more than simply his parents not being there. For not noticing anything wrong with your girlfriend's ideas, you are the foolish one. Before you mentioned another girl, I assumed her best buddy was another man. It's unreasonable to ask your closest buddy, who is in a relationship, to share a bedroom with another woman. Your girlfriend paired him with her best friend with malicious purpose. Your best friend ought to invite his girlfriend along as well, as she is going on the trip with you as her partner. With any luck, this post will help you see things more clearly before you become too mired in it.